Callum Hawthorne writes, "Hi, love your show, and I've been watching it for some time now. My question is about the X-Men movies. Will they reboot it? I'm looking forward to X-Men Days of Future Past, but haven't heard any other movies in development besides Deadpool, which is unlikely to happen. I wish they'd continue the series, but fear it could be terrible after the upcoming X-Men movie. Hugh Jackman has also said it's been harder to do these types of movies as well. Do you think this is the end of the X-Men film series?"
Well, you think it's gonna be horrible because the upcoming X-Men movie? I
actually think awesome.
I think the upcoming X-Men movie looks pretty good. But let's put that aside for a second. I actually do think this is going to be the end of the line for the X-Men universe as we know it. Now, I'm take this with a grain of salt. I'm not basing that on anything any Fox representative has said. I'm simply telling you what I think is going to happen. Could be miles wrong. But I think with the Fantastic Four rebooting, I think with the fact that they now have Fox, that Fox now has that going, and they have X-Men, and I think they've already made overtures that they want to start crossing those universes, much like Marvel has done with their Avengers series. I think it makes, and the fact that this series has been going on for like 15 years, and that Hugh Jackman is talking about stepping away from it now. He's been doing it for so long. I do think that this X-Men Days of Future Past will be the end of the line for the current X-Men universe, and that they will reboot it to coincide with the rebooting of Fantastic Four and create a shared universe there. Once again, don't take that to the bank. It is simply what I'm speculating, but it seems to make sense for me. Amy Rose, what do you think?
I surely hope not, because I love X-Men. Now, if I get a crossover film, okay, sure, keeping Mama happy there. I think Fantastic Four X-Men crossover film would be epic, of big, large, crazy proportions. And I don't know. I think that these characters are so loved, and there's so much material from the comics that they could explore. There's so many great characters they haven't even introduced yet. So to me, the X-Men fanatic, I don't believe it will end, because people love these characters. And again, Hugh Jackman, as we kind of touched on in the last question with Bond, he is kind of getting over it, but he could still have kind of like an X-Men First Class, just a little scene in it that maybe he's not as much of a pivotal character. It might not work the same way, but I don't think it's the end. Maybe, as John's saying, it's the end of the standalone films, but they're going to keep making films within this franchise. I think it's too beloved, and it's shown them too much success.
I think one of the things we got to keep in mind, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, is that with the Fantastic Four, the names that we've seen brought up, whether it's Michael B. Jordan or the young girl from
Alison
Girls,
Williams.
they are going young.
They are going
And
young.
I think the reason they're going young is because they're thinking, we're not thinking for the next 5 years, we're thinking for the next 15 years, we're thinking for the next 20 years. And if that's the case, Halle Berry can't be Storm anymore 5, 10 years from now. Ian McKellen, the god among men, cannot be Magneto in an action film anymore 10 years from now. Patrick Stewart can't be Professor X 15 years from now. Hugh Jackman's already said he's kind of done. And do you really want an ongoing continuing X-Men universe where you're going to get no Wolverine really, no Magneto really, no Professor X really? You've already done away with Cyclops. You've already done away with Phoenix. You've already done away with Beast. You've already done away. I mean, it just seems like, since they're going so young, I should have mentioned that originally with Fantastic Four, it kind of cues up to me, maybe they're thinking long term. But here's the thought, can they start a crossover? And I'm asking this legit, I don't know. Can they start a crossover with the new Fantastic Four, with the current existing X-Men universe, and then reboot the X-Men universe and introduce new X-Men later? No? Okay.
I personally don't think they can.
Right.
I think that'd be really confusing, and I'm not a big fan of that idea. Now, if they rebooted the universe and introduced new characters, I'm sure the backlash initially would be like, God, why could you do this? Much like Robert Downey Jr. How we've talked about this so many times. No one can play him. Well, of course they can, and if we find another great actor to take it over. So I think it's one of those
a little bit easier
things.
if you're rebooting it as opposed to just changing actors.
Of course, but there are, I mean, especially Jackman, 7 times as Wolverine. Like, that is going to be a really, really hard role to fill because people love him as Wolverine. But I do think it can be done because people's love for the X-Men might outweigh their love for these actors playing them. Hopefully.
Yep.
Because I want more X-Men films.
And remember, most people hated when they first announced Hugh Jackman was going to play Wolverine. They're all like, who's this guy? And now we can't imagine it without him.
Hey guys, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and will keep you up to date on all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to find out about our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.